By the end of today's video, you will know exactly how to tell captivating stories like this.
So I asked Amiji, what is the last thought before you enter stage? What is in your head? What is in your heart? How do you feel? Because he's amazing on stage and everywhere. What is the last thing I do before I go on stage? I check my zippers.
Even if you have the best story in the world, it is useless if you don't first grab attention. There are 3 ways to grab attention. The first one is the principle of contrast.
Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the 2 of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. And then I got fired.
Instead of saying I got fired from Apple, he first talked about how they were working in a garage and built it into a $2 billion company, and then said he got fired. That contrast pulls people in and makes them want to listen. Another way to grab attention is curiosity.
John is like the opposite of what I expected. I'd never met him. Idris and I still know each other. I'm friends with his wife.
The way she said it makes you wonder what did she expect and how he was the opposite of it. If you don't know how to do that, you can keep it simple with a preframe, where you go over what the story is about.
Now I'll tell you a little story that probably changed my life.
But once you have attention, how do you structure the story? A member of my program asked me how he can use storytelling in interviews, and this is the structure I taught him. By the way, if you're interested in the step-by-step program, it's linked in the description. Step 1 is context, where you give background about the story.
They built this multi-axis trainer, which is something that NASA designed just to sort of help the astronauts prepare for the worst case scenarios in space.
Step 2 is confusion, where you mention how an obvious or common sense approach did not work and something went wrong.
That and getting banged around in the capsules and hitting my head, that something might be wrong.
What was wrong?
Then there's conflict, where you build up tension.
I was just hell-bent on this idea that there were people in donut stores all around the world, trying to charm their way into getting free donuts.
And what did Ava say to that?
At this point, people will be hooked, so you can start bringing up the punchline of the story. Towards the end of the story, don't wait too much and go straight to the punchline.
You should go to the hospital.
Did you go to the hospital?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
And what'd they say?
That I had minor concussion.
Now that you have the basic structure of a story, here are 3 ways to take your storytelling to the next level. Step 1 is to set the scene. Describe the physical location your story is set in. Watch how he's describing a hotel room he booked for his first family vacation.
I went to this hotel. It's scary. So I looked at my wife, and my wife is looking at me, and I said, no, don't worry. It must be a heritage hotel. And the guy opened the door to my room. And we stepped inside the room. It was pitch dark. One light came on. A 0 number bulb in the room. And I was so embarrassed of myself.
Another way to captivate people is through stakes. Stakes tell people the consequences of something going wrong and why should they care about your story.
Before the shoot was to start, I'm writing this, I'm producing this, I'm directing this, I'm acting in it, and I'm doing it in 3 languages, live sound in 8 locations around the world. And another huge cap is forced on my head, helmet sort, which is to direct the project. And I've never, ever commanded a set or shot a small reel on my own or edited it or put music, nothing.
To set up stakes, use language that appeals to emotion, because the goal of a story is not to share facts, it's to move people emotionally. Here's how to do that. Watch his language here.
The fatherless child, and I never spoke. I had a lisp, and I stammered, and I squeaked, and I thought, I should speak like this.
And now if you want to learn how to implement these habits, join my free weekly email newsletter. It's linked in the description. But let's say you just want to tell a funny story at a gathering. How do you do that? Here's how you can apply everything we've learned to a funny story. In the following clips, notice how everything comes together at the very end. Even in funny stories, you'll notice that the best ones start with an inner emotional experience.
Get fully ready as beautiful. Okay, I'm ready. Any second they'll call me. Oh God, I'm nervous. Will I be able to do it? Kya? Lunch break? Oh, okay, lunch break. Lunch खा लिया. Okay, अभी तो definitely बुलाएंगे. क्या हो रहा है? Pack up. Oh, pack up. Okay, go.
Now after that, he did not get to film for 5-6 days. And he said he got used to not filming on set. So he just started playing cricket with a friend.
Suddenly JP Saab's associate, his name is Suri. Suri comes running. क्या कर रहा है? I said, cricket khel raha hu, aur kya? Shot ready! I said, what? I said, because I'd removed my makeup, my costume, everything. I said, he's going to pack. They said, no, he's calling you. Don't let him miss his light. He gets very upset if you miss his light. And I'm panicking because JP Dutt, they're already scared of him, right?
Did you notice that he explicitly called out the panic and urgency to create tension? Telling funny stories like that can sound complicated, but basically it's just raising and releasing tension.
I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? He's going to kill me. He's going to throw me out of the film.
Now, to punch up the humor in his story, watch how he describes the feeling of his first shot in his debut movie.
I was like, my God, my first shot. JP Saab, gone. He's walked off. He used to just walk off. And I'm like, no, this is a moment. Somebody hug me. Let me touch somebody's feet. Let me do something.
He also acts out the important moments in real time so people can follow along. For context, here he's reciting his first dialogue.
Naam, refugee. And I said, what and? I said, do some more. Third time I did this, and he shouted, cut!
At this point in the story, the director has said cut 3 times, but he hasn't told us why the director is yelling at him. That brings us to the final principle of comedic stories. Release tension at the absolute last moment, ideally with the last few words of your last sentence.
He said, why are you not saying the dialogue? I said, sir, I'm saying the dialogue. My dialogue is Naam, refugee. He's like, you idiot. There are 2 pages after that. Where's the dialogue?
But let's say you've learned the habits in this video, but you don't have the confidence to tell stories like this. If you want to learn how to build that confidence, watch this video.